After mass resignations of staff, after mass cancellations by performers, Donald Trump has announced that he will be shutting down the Kennedy Center, which he desecrated by calling the Trump Kennedy Center. He says he's shutting it down for at least approximately 2 years, and it may be shut down even longer. Donald Trump has bankrupted yet another thing that he slopped his name on, and the once thriving, successful, and profitable Kennedy Center has been run into the ground in record time. As our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, writes, who could have predicted that the guy who has bankrupted the following businesses by slopping his name on things would bankrupt the Kennedy Center? Here's just a list of some of Trump businesses that failed: Trump Steaks, Trump Vodka, Trump Board Games, Trump University, Trump Mattresses, Trump Ice, Trump Shuttle, Trump Vitamins and Urine Test Kits, Tour de Trump, New Jersey Generals, Trump Modeling, Trump Princesses, Trump Mortgages, Trump Success Cologne, Trump Magazine, Trump Style, Trump Taj Mahal, Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, Trump Castle, Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts, Trump Entertainment, Trump Marina, Trump Casino Indiana, Trump Travel Agency, Trump Net Telecom, Trump Tower Tampa, Trump Empire Cologne, Paris is Out Musical, and with the Epstein files being released, or a small portion, Trump Modeling Agency. Now, Donald Trump posted the following message, and I want to note this before reading you the message, as I said before. The Kennedy Center was profitable. It was a successful business before Donald Trump slopped his name on it and destroyed it. Here's what Donald Trump's post said moments ago. After a 1-year review of the Trump Kennedy Center, it's not what it's called the Kennedy Center. By the way, it was a memorial to former President Kennedy that you desecrated, a memorial, as much of a sacred thing as can exist in the federal government. After a 1-year review of the Trump Kennedy Center that has taken place with contractors, musical experts, on and on and on, Donald Trump goes on to say that partial construction while continuing entertainment operations through a much longer period of time, working in and around the performances, I've determined that the Trump Kennedy Center, if temporarily closed for construction, revitalization, and complete rebuilding, can be without question the finest performing arts of its kind anywhere in the world. In other words, if we don't close, the quality of construction will not be nearly as good, and the time to completion, because of interruptions with audiences from the many events using the facility, will be much longer. The temporary closure will produce a much faster and higher quality result. Based on these findings and totally subject to board approval, I have determined that the fastest way to bring the Trump Kennedy Center to the highest level of success, beauty, and grandeur is to cease entertainment operations for an approximately 2-year period of time, with a scheduled grand reopening that will rival and surpass anything that has taken place with respect to such a facility before. What are you even talking about there? And it should also be asked, who is paying for this? More of your right-wing oligarch buds that you shake down? And when you say you're going to open it like something's never been opened before, just take a look at some of the facts surrounding the opening of the Kennedy Center. It opened September 8th, 1971. And from that time till now, the only stoppage was a short period of time, March 2020 to September 2020, for the COVID pandemic. Then Donald Trump renamed the Kennedy Center unlawfully to Trump Kennedy Center December 18, 2025. And now Trump announces the Trump Kennedy Center, unlawfully named as such, will cease operations for 2 years, he says, and it will probably be longer. As I mentioned, over the past week, take a look at what went down. Kennedy Center announced a new head of programming who quit after just 5 days. Meet Kevin Couch, the Kennedy Center appointee as Senior Vice President of Artistic Programming, who quit 5 days thereafter. Just over the past week to 10 days, you had Renee Fleming canceling the Kennedy Center appearances. The Grammy-winning soprano was to have appeared with conductor James Gaffigan and the National Symphony Orchestra, and Renee Fleming says that she's withdrawing the 2 scheduled May appearances at the Kennedy Center. Philip Glass, in the past week to 10 days, canceled the Kennedy Center premiere of the Lincoln Symphony amid massive upheaval. And Philip Glass said the following: Symphony number 15 is a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and the values of the Kennedy Center today are in direct conflict with the message of the symphony. Therefore, I feel an obligation to withdraw this symphony premiere from the Kennedy Center under its current leadership. You will also recall that the National Opera announced that it would be canceling its appearances and moving out of the Kennedy Center earlier in January, which had been in the Kennedy Center consistently since the Kennedy Center opened in 1971. I want to remind you back on December 19, 2025, when Trump desecrated the Kennedy Center and put his name on it, how DC residents, I think channeling what the rest of the country was feeling, were saying. Take a listen to what this DC resident had to say. Play this clip.
Feeling like democracy died today. This is history happening today, and we should all be shocked that a felon, a convicted felon, and a thug, and by all means a grifter, has just stuck his name on top of a national monument. This is a desecration.
Next, I want to share with you my friend, independent journalist Jim Acosta. Here's what he had to say on December 19, 2025, when Trump desecrated the Kennedy Center and changed the lettering on it to say Trump Kennedy Center. Play this clip.
Well, here we are at the scene of yet another crime committed by Donald Trump. He has vandalized the Kennedy Center by putting his name on it. And he just needs to understand that, first of all, he can't do this single-handedly. Only Congress can authorize a change of name to the Kennedy Center. But yet he doesn't care about the law. He doesn't care what is appropriate. He's gone and vandalized the Kennedy Center, which is, we should note, the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. It was named after President Kennedy after he was assassinated. Donald Trump should show some respect for that. But of course he doesn't do that. And, you know, this is what needs to be said. We, the American people, are not going to call the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center, just like we're not going to call the Department of Defense the Department of War, or the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. We, the sane, rational American people, are not going to go along with that. So Trump can act like a child. He can be a vandal, put his name up on all of these buildings, but it's not going to change what the rest of us do. In response to what has been a childish and lawless administration.
As Barbara Comstock says, so Trump puts his name on it and kills the Kennedy Center. So instead of allowing the center to return to its arts mission, he'd rather close it than admit his vanity project was rejected by the American people. More Trump failure, and Richard Grenell is a disgrace too. If it's closed, hope no money for him and his team. Remember, back last February, Richard Grenell, was put as the new chairman of the Kennedy Center board. Then Donald Trump fired the rest of the board. That led to other mass resignations and the beginning of cancellations at the Kennedy Center. And ever since then, Rick Grenell's been threatening to sue all of the acts that are canceling. And now Donald Trump has fully capitulated and shut down the Kennedy Center. Our friend Aaron Parnas, who's got a great YouTube channel now through the MeidasTouch network, says the following: the Trump family aired the world premiere of Melania and closed the Kennedy just 3 days later. The 6% on Rotten Tomatoes does not do it justice. Mike Rothschild says the following: Trump ruined the Kennedy Center so quickly and completely that he's going to close and renovate it for most of his second term right now. Let's take a look right here at who has canceled their Kennedy Center performances since Trump took over. Obviously, Hamilton canceled pretty soon after Trump took over. Hamilton released the following statement last March 5th, 2025. Political disagreement and debate are vital expressions of democracy. These basic concepts of freedom are at the very heart of Hamilton. However, some institutions are sacred and should be protected from politics. The Kennedy Center is one such institution. The Kennedy Center was founded over 50 years ago with a sincere bipartisan spirit. Indeed, it was founded during the administration of President Dwight Eisenhower, named after President John F. Kennedy, and opened in 1971 under the administration of Richard Nixon. The Kennedy Center was meant to be for all Americans, a place where we could all come together in celebration of the arts. Politics have never affected the presentation of thousands of shows and the display of extraordinary visual arts. However, in recent weeks, we have sadly seen decades of Kennedy Center neutrality be destroyed. The recent purge by the Trump administration of both professional staff and performing arts events at or originally produced by the Kennedy Center flies in the face of everything this National Cultural Center represents. This spirit of nonpartisanship ended on February 7, 2025, with the firing of Kennedy Center President Deborah Rutter, the chairman of the board David Rubenstein, and numerous other Kennedy Center board members, as well as the cancellation of important programming. These actions bring a new spirit of partisanship to the national treasure that is the Kennedy Center. Given these recent actions, our show simply cannot in good conscience participate and be a part of this new culture that is being imposed on the Kennedy Center. Therefore, it says we are canceling. Shonda Rhimes and Issa Rae cut ties with the Kennedy Center from their sold-out shows. Philip Glass, as I mentioned, Renee Fleming, Vocal Arts DC, Brentano Quartet, and the Sin Yun Wang Quartet announced their cancellation of a concert. You had the Seattle Children's Theater, the Martha Graham Dance Company, the Washington National Opera, Sonia de los Santos, Stephen Schwartz, the Cookers, Chuck Red, Doug Verone and Dancers, Magpie, Christy Lee, Low Cut Connie, Rhiannon Giddens, Balloon, Hamilton, which I just mentioned, all canceled. And it should also be noted, also the U.S. Marine Band canceled. The U.S. Marine Band announced in February 2025 that the Marine Band would not perform in the Equity Arc Wind Symphony event, a collaboration between Marine Band members and selected high school musicians. The U.S. Marine Band, known also as the President's Own, was founded by an act of Congress in 1798, making it the country's oldest professional musical organization. Composer Kevin Charensry, whose music had been scheduled to be performed by the band at the event, stated in a Facebook post that diversity, equity, and inclusion orders resulted in the cancellation of the Equity Arc concert. It has come to my attention that the program, one based on equity and diversity of voices, is no longer supported at the federal level under this administration. Charensry wrote, "It was for this reason that the program and performance were canceled." And then my friend, Ben Folds, resigned from the National Symphony Orchestra back last February. Ben Folds was the artistic advisor to the National Symphony Orchestra. And he said right back then, last February, "Given developments at the Kennedy Center effective today, I am resigning as artistic advisor to the NSO." I interviewed Ben Folds 3 weeks ago when there were other acts resigning at the Kennedy Center. And here's what Ben Folds told me. Play this clip.
It's really sad. The Kennedy Center had so many great missions, and it is a memorial as well. It's as close to sacred stuff as you can get for our federal government. But aside from that, it really is playing out roughly the way that it felt it would for me a year ago. And I'm not saying that I understood how events would unfold exactly, but it was clearly the first step it was an authoritarian move. It was an authoritarian first step. And obviously they weren't going to start by trying to steamroller late night comedians. They thought they would run over us first. And that's much easier because it's close to home and they know what they're, and they know how to do it. But now the things that are happening are no surprise because that's, it wasn't just him. I think people misunderstand. It's not just him going in wanting to book bands or something. It's commandeering, the government's, the arts. And then from there, that's expression. That's freedom of expression. And from there, you move on to the networks and to Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and 60 Minutes. And you just keep steamrolling. So I was sick on my stomach when I quit because one, I knew they were going to run in the ground. No one that they were appointing had any experience in arts administration, but that was never the point. The point was to take that, run over it, and move on. So it's rotting over, next to the Potomac in the moment, and it's just sad,
And here's what Ben Folds also said to me. Play this other clip.
I think artists. It's the same as I felt a year ago. I think that the responsibility and the right of artists is to express honestly. and it's a little bit sometimes like reportage. It's a little bit like journalism, and I think that is what artists need to do right now while we still can. Obviously, you don't have to do it at the Kennedy Center. It was an amazing place with an amazing mission and all kinds of access to facilities, and it was beautiful. And by the way, it used to make some money, and now it's like not run well. But the artist right now, we should all be expressing ourselves with there was a time, I think, and I came up in this era of the 90s, this sort of shut up and sing era where you're worried you're going to alienate your artist. I think right now is the time to absolutely stand up and express yourself. If that's political, do it. If it's social, do it. If it's what you love for lunch, hey, that's fine too. But be honest in your reporting, because you may not have that luxury if we keep going like we're going. Better to do it now. Better to show up at the protest now than have to show up in the protest in a year and worried about getting, jailed and killed. It's now is the time to, and the artist's job has always been to be a little ahead of the curve where things are going. The artist can explain that in terms that no one else is allowed to. It doesn't have to make sense. It has to feel right, and that's what moves people. And the reason the arts are important, and all these people said they weren't important, that were on the right side of the government, that said arts don't matter, we don't need to fund it. Boy, they sure thought it was important when it came to the Kennedy Center. They took that over in like 1 month. So the arts are important, and the artist is really needed right now.
There you have it, folks. Trump shutting down the Kennedy Center. He's bankrupted the Kennedy Center in a very short period of time. He's put it out of business. Typical Trump, everything he touches, he destroys. A profitable, vibrant treasure in our country has been run into the ground by Donald Trump, as he's running our country into the ground as well. And he's all over the Epstein files, 5,000 references to Donald Trump in the most grotesque and disgusting ways. I'll just leave that there for you at the end. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.